This video focuses on the new module within KYCP called Case Manager. In fact, for short, it's CM. It's a new plugin, it's a new concept within the same KYC portal that requires an optional license, which allows you to create ancillary data which is not relating to KYC. So I'm going to make reference in the video to the normal use of KYC portal, but also how the new case manager concept applies. Just to be able to explain the difference in the normal use of any business, KYC portal is used at the moment just to collect data that relates to due diligence, anything that relates to KYC, anything that relates to risk, the documents that relate to subjects about risk. However, we've been receiving a lot of requests from clients to be able to use KYCP to store ancillary data. Data that relates to the client, data that relates to the business we offer to the client, data that is usually accessed by different teams within your organization, so not the due diligence team, but the normal operations team, to be able to service the client. So what we created and what we are about to launch is called the Case Manager. Let me start from the configuration side. We tried keeping the whole concept as similar as to the current use of KYC portal itself. So if I go to the programs side of the system, whilst at the moment in KYCP we only have the concept of adding a KYC program, the system allows you to create what we call a case manager program. The case manager program can be linked to an existing program. So for example, over here, I have a program called Corporate Services, which is my normal KYC program. However, I also created a program called Case Manager and linked it to the program Corporate Services. This means that on any application in the KYC program Corporate Services, I can open a case manager file, a case management file. In case manager programs, there is much less features. There's no concept of checklists, there's no concept of risk or questionnaires, there's no concept of workflows and rules as yet and screening services, because it only focuses on allowing you to create a subset of data that is used for operational purposes. So for example, I decided which entities I want to show in the case management file, not all of them that exist in KYCP. I decided also the fields that I want to show on my subjects, fields which could be common to both programs, so both KYC and Case Manager, so you only fill them once, but they appear in two places. Fields that are only read-only in Case Manager, so for example, I want to show certain fields from KYC program, but only read-only, and even vice versa, new fields in the Case Manager that do not show in the KYC program. The system allows you to create document requirements for Case Manager, which are different from the KYC files and also the statuses. And the best way to see this is in practical use. So for example, over here I have a company application for which I have the normal KYC record. So if I open it up, this is the screen that everyone is used to at the moment, where you see the risk, the entities, the structure. So for each type of entity there is the fields, the documents, and anything that relates to KYC. However, on this application, I created a case manager file, the operational side of the company. If I click on a CM application, the screen is entirely different. Since there's no concept of risk, since there's no concept of due diligence, the system focuses, the first tab over here is application details. These are the fields that you set in the backend. So as you might notice, there are some fields that I decided to pick from the KYC program. In fact, I cannot change them in CM, but there are other fields that I added specifically in the case manager file. The case manager file allows you to split the fields also in tabs. So anything that relates to, for example, in this case, secretarial, anything that relates to whatever you want. You are in full control to define what you call the tabs, what you call the fields. So for example, client relationship, this is CRM aspect, whether it's marketing, shareholding, and details of shareholding. I also, as an example, added another number of factors like bank details with multiple signatories, bank accounts, or whatever you want to show over there. Also, as another example, employees of the customer, where you can add the multiple employees and details. STRs. So in STRs, I created some data on each STR item. So the date, the amount, the currency, the pending transaction, the beneficiary account details. So allowing you to add all that in the system itself. The system then over here can decide, and you decide, which entities can show over here in the case manager file. So in the linked entities, I decided to show any shareholder corporates, any shareholder natural persons, and director natural persons. The nice thing about this is that on each of these entities, what you want to show here, there is data that I decided that it comes from KYCP. So those two fields, if I update them here, they're going to be also updated in the KYC program. But there is also a set of data relating to each entity which only appears in the case manager file. So this is usually data that does not relate to risk or case manager or KYC processes, but on the ongoing aspect of due diligence. In fact, this allows any client to build any set of data, whether you're offering particular services, whether it's STRs, vessel management, reporting of certain obligations. It allows you to build your set of data just for case manager. Also in documents, in fact, as an example, the system allows you to create new different templates of documents that are required only in Case Manager, like VAT returns, records of registration and submission, and also the notes module that keeps an audit of whatever is happening in the Case Manager file. Most importantly, however, is also the roles and rights. So since this is created as a separate program, you can decide in your team that you have the operational team accessing only the case manager file of some clients, the compliance team accessing only the KYC file, but then management can see both. Last thing, at the moment, the case manager file, which is just launched now, allows you to only create a case manager file from an existing KYC application. So for example, if I have this current KYC application over here with two entities, you can, if I have the KYC application, go on the first entity, and over here, let me just give an example. So I can create, let me just create a new one as an example so you can see the details. So imagine I have under corporate services, I have a company, and under the company, I want to start creating, like for example, director natural person, and whatever it is. At a company, the system allows you to create on this button, the case manager, and it will automatically create and link the case manager file for it. So instantly creating the status of the application in case manager file as well. This is a brand new feature in KYC Portal that will be released very shortly with the next release. If you want more details, please let us know, contact us, and we'll get in touch to take you through it.